Therefore, an interlink into our social partners, such as NPOs doing work in the community, has been established. 5.6 million has been allocated for 100 grant in aid allocation to be approved for beneficiaries that will apply in the 2021-22 financial year. The municipality tries by all means through conducting capacity building workshops for would-be grant applicants to capacitate organizations in all wards and knowledge on how to access the funding. With the above mentioned amount, we are planning to allocate at least a maximum of 110,000 per organization to at least organization coming from across the city. Madam Speaker, the impact of communication as the city is of critical importance and therefore resonates well with the national government prescripts of for GCIS. We are proud that our budget is in line with these prescripts, which will see our communication units prioritized. The 1% of the total operational budget. I must quickly remind the council that this is a resolution that was taken and agreed on in 2017. We are confident that this new robust move will see more improvement on what we are noting as great strides in modern communication tools, such as our growing social media platform as well as e-braille. Madam Speaker, as Governance and Human Capital Cluster, we are confident that this budget will move the city forward and we are in full support of it. Thank you very much.
You will now invite the IFP for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, IFP would like to commend Dr. Krish Kumar and his team in presenting a balanced budget in terms of Section 24 of the MFMA. Furthermore, we would like to wish Krish Kumar all the best in his retirement, and we believe that he has served this municipality excellently. Madam Speaker, having said that, we believe in the IFP that sufficient consideration has not been given during this time of COVID for those who are unemployed and destitute. I say this because inflation is running around 3%, and the increases on electricity of 14.59%, water at 8.5%, and sanitation at 8.5% does not augur well for those who are in destitute. We do understand that there were some relief in terms of COVID relief program, but it hasn't been sufficient. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, the municipality has failed miserably in addressing the unfunded mandates, such as library, which accounts to about approximately 1 billion, housing 3.1 billion, and running of other clinics. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Mayor very conveniently left out the water losses, which run, water and electricity losses, which runs to the tune of 1 billion. And this has been punctuated by the poor service delivery protests that we have been having throughout the eThekwini municipality. Furthermore, I think the council has been misled as far as the consequential management goes. There are numerous senior managers who are due to appear for consequential management have been sidestepped. The other aspect of corruption, which is prevalent in the municipality, we believe that the Honorable Mayor has not been transparent enough as far as being a player and a referee and a player when it comes to COVID-19 expenditure. Impact, for example, is still waiting to see the report on expenses that have been incurred during the COVID-19. Madam Speaker, the salaries provided for in the budget is sitting at 4%. Inflation...
Councillor Aya, your time is up. Thank you. We'll now invite Councillor Thabani Mthethwa from the DA.
Oh, no, thank you, Madam Speaker. My colleague Andre Pierre, Councillor, has said and given all the figures, the facts, and the sad realities facing our municipality. Basically, what he was saying is that this long-winded speech here by the Honorable Mayor is very much far removed from the lived realities of the residents of eThekwini. If the mayor was aware and exposed to the realities, he would know that the mere mention of the word ANC and the budget in one sentence is a scary nightmare. The reality, Madam Speaker, is that it is this ANC that has made it possible for the criminally charged senior officials at supply chain management to return back to office with no consequences. The very same office that is responsible for the procurement of billions of services for the people of eThekwini. So you have criminally charged people in charge of our procurement worth billions. It is this ANC that has made it possible for some in their own ranks sitting here who are criminally charged, who are expected to play oversight role over the very same budget that is being presented here today. So you have criminals being expected to play oversight role over the finances of our city.
Point of order, Chair.
Please raise your hand.
Point of order, Councillor Sabelo.
Councillor Sabelo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to the House. I don't think it's necessary for us to educate Mr. Mtetwa about the constitution of this republic. To refer to people who are charged as criminals is criminal in itself. I think he is out of order, because in the Republic of South Africa, you remain innocent up until you are proven otherwise. So you cannot refer to anyone who is charged as a criminal, because they are not a criminal. Thank you.
Thank you.
He must withdraw.
Please withdraw, Councillor, because these people are.
I'm talking about criminally charged potential criminals.
Councillor
out of order.
Nyambos, you said criminals in this room.
Potential
I heard you.
criminals.
Please withdraw.
I withdraw criminals. I replace that with potential criminals.
Continue.
Yes. So, to briefly summarize what my colleague was saying, it is very expensive these days to be a resident of eThekwini, because the tariffs that have been raised here, if we were to make just a few comparisons with one municipality somewhere in the Western Cape led by the DA, you have increased your electricity by more than 14% tariff increase. They have only increased it with only about 13%. They've allocated 8 billion for capital expenditure.
Mtetwa, your neighbor must have his mask covering his mouth and nose. Thank you. Continue.
But that's got nothing to do with my speech.
Continue.
You are so stupid.
That municipality led by the DA has allocated more than 8 billion to capital expenditure, whilst eThekwini has only allocated just over 5 billion. With regards to water and sanitation, their tariff increase is only 5%, whilst eThekwini is, let me find it, almost 9%. So it is very expensive to live in eThekwini compared to DA-led municipalities, because the DA understands that it is important to take care of economic growth, Madam Speaker. My colleague is still going to speak after me, just to tell you that the public out there has lost confidence in the ability of the ANC to self-correct, because we are led here by people who do not care about the well-being of the ordinary citizens. You have failed for over 90 days to fill the vacancy of the deputy mayor. Dare I remind you that the deputy mayor is the chairperson of the finance and security cluster, the very same person who's supposed to play daily oversight on the finances of the city. And you expect people to be inspired in your leadership. Therefore, Madam Speaker, as a Democratic Alliance, we don't believe that the ANC is the right organization to play oversight over the finances of the city. I'll leave the rest to my colleague.
We don't care about your beliefs.
Thank you. We'll now invite Councillor Sibia from the African National Congress.
Ngiyabonga, Honorable Speaker. Ngiyathusa ukuthi sizwe abantu uma ngabe kupresentwa ngezinto ezinhle ezenziwa umasipala wethu olidwa uhulumeni ka-ANC kube yibona futhi kuqala bathi kunezinto abazibiza ngama-unfunded mandate kube kuyibo abagcwala amaphepha beyokhuluma nge-state sama-clinic ethu. So-ke siyafisa ukusho ukuthi upresident wethu bela eThekwini not so long ago bekunyaka odlule ezokhuluma nge-DDM ukusebenzisana phakathi kwama-spheres wonke kahulumeni. So-ke ukusebenzisana kusho khona ukuthi ngeke siwayeke ama-clinic ngoba sithi i-unfunded mandate. Ingakho thina silishayela ihlombe kakhulu i-budget kanye nemali that is allocated kuwo wonke imisebenzi abayibiza nge-unfunded mandate abanye ngoba umphakathi wethu uyayijabulela. Laba-ke abathi bathi abajabulile noma bathi bakhona izinto abangazizwa ngebudget epresent umeya bona njenge-DA le eyokuthi abantu baseThekwini basawuthemba kakhulu uhulumeni ka-ANC and ifuna ukuqinisekisa ukuthi namanje sisamile ekutheni as ANC we remain the only organization ezimisele ngokuyisa phambili impilo zabantu abamnyama. So-ke ivoti labantu baseThekwini lisho kuhlukile kulokhu okukhulunywa umnumzane lapha ngaphesheya. Siyafisa-ke to applaud the ANC-led government also by ensuring that ama-resources of i-public are invested back kwi-public ngezinto ezinhle. Ngoba abantu abakhokha intela abantu baseThekwini uma bebona izinto ezinhle njengama-clinic nama-gym nakho konke kwenzeka phambi kwabo bayajabula ngoba kuthathwa ezimalini zabo. We also wish to applaud our municipality ukuthi if you look at Plan 6 of the IDP okhuluma ngama-museums, ngama-libraries, there is progress. Kukhona esikukhombayo nesikhuluma ngakho, akhulume ngakho Baba Mayor, that is happening, especially lokho kwenzeke endaweni ezingamalokishi la khona abantu bakhona were previously disadvantaged. Siyafisa futhi ukuthi siyibonge kakhulu ibudget, siyayamkela, siyayijabulela kakhulu ngoba ngoJuly 2020 i-Economic Transformation Committee of the ANC as well as i-Business for South Africa released ama-discussion documents. Kuwona wo-2 ama-documents into eyayisimila was that we'll focus more agriculture. Now it is something that our mayor has touched on, so yinto elindelwe abantu base South Africa nabaseThekwini ke ngoba sikhuluma kwi-context yethu yaseThekwini. Also on the 54th National Conference of the ANC, amongst our resolutions, sinasla asizile ukuzolida abantu nge-common sense, but we take a mandate from the organization that has sent us. Now, ANC also spoke a healthy lifestyle. Now, we applaud our municipality ngama-gyms, akhiwayo. We also applaud our municipality ngama-swimming pools. We know ukuthi awakakhiwa wonke njengesifiso sabantu baseThekwini, but we just want to assure them ukuthi there is progress, and we are doing that because our organization has said ukuthi we must take responsibility as the metro or as municipalities ukuqinisekisa ukuthi we provide requisite amenities in communities that will encourage a healthy lifestyle and improve equality yezimpilo zabantu. So ke sesikushilo konke lokho siyafisa kakhulu kuyibonga ibudget, siyafisa kakhulu ukushayela uhulumeni ka-ANC ihlombe ngokuhlale ngaso sonke isikhathi uprioritize impilo zabantu, especially laba abakithi bebale elifana naleli lami. Siyabonga.
Thank you, Councillor Sibia.
Uzwele mthetho.
I will now invite the AIC, 1 minute.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa ala wa barakatuh.
Salah.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Shafiana Maulana Muhammad wa ala Ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Ibrahim Kamid Majid.
Time.
Cela utoli.
Isikhathi asihambi la.
Cela
Though
untanda atoli.
i-AIC angizukwanda ngamazi kakhulu because my religion ifundisa ukuthi ngiphile kahle nabantu i-culture yesintu. Ngizobonga ubaba umeya, uspeaker, wonke amakhansela khona. Ngithi Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala umveli nqangi. Abusisa uPimpilende, siyabonga ngebudget. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ngiyabonga kumveli nqangi. Uqamatha mawuthana. La ilaha illallah. Amen.
Seconded.
Thank you.
Ilapho.
ACDP, 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, trials and tribulations tend to squeeze out the artificiality out of us, leaving the essence of what we really are and clarify what we really yearn for. It is a reality listening to the mayor this morning that is living in an artificial world. Sadly, his public consultation was not the voice of the majority of the citizens in eThekwini. Madam Speaker, eThekwini suffers with mass protest. People are suffering without water. People are suffering without jobs. People are suffering without electricity. People are suffering without proper housing systems. If the mayor is saying that potholes are being resolved, a patch is not resolving the crisis of potholes. If the mayor is talking about houses, then giving Esther Zungu 114 years a title deeds is not proper service delivery. And I believe if each one of us is going to live 114 years till title deeds, we have got a problem in this city. Thank you.
Your time is up. Councillor Ben, the remaining minutes of the DA.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when I was listening to the mayor earlier, I thought I was living in utopia. But as I will show, that is just not the case. First of all, he did not touch at all on the fragility of the rates base of this municipality. It has been acknowledged elsewhere, but not in the budget. And when one thinks that the rates base is a key component of the budget, it's astounding that it was completely overlooked. We have 3.9 million people in this municipality approximately. We only have 538 rateable properties in this municipality, and they generate a revenue of 9.718 billion. We aspire to being a business-orientated city, but we only have 24,000 rateable properties of the categories of business and commercial and industrial. So we really don't have the base that we should have to be an effective metro. And yet, all business opportunities, we're going to nobble with the PPE requirements and BBBE requirements, which is an absolute and complete disincentive to anybody starting a business in this municipality. One simply cannot understand why the ANC cannot recognize the fact that no one is going to bring their business to this country, to this city, if we nobble them all with BBBEE. On to the residential properties. We have 470,000 residential properties. Yet we have 1,159,000 water consumers. And it seems to me that there should be a very strong correlation between the business and industrial ratepayers, the residential ratepayers, and the number of water meters, but there isn't. There's a big hole in the rates base in this municipality. People who are receiving services are not paying rates. Where is that hole? Substantially in the Ngunyama Trust land, ma'am, where we have spoken about levying rates for years and years. We have intergovernmental teams working on it, but the situation is just not being resolved. A bit like Transnet and the bus service. So we really need to spend some time on trying to increase the rates base. The one area where we could increase the rates of revenue is if we took more seriously the category of unauthorized, abandoned, and illegal use properties. And we all know how many of these properties there are around the city. And bet you'd all be surprised to know how many are actually paying the punitive rate for the unauthorized abandon and illegal use. It's a mere 536 properties throughout the whole of the municipality. We've spoken for years about fixed charges on properties to inculcate a sense of commitment and a culture of payment. But sadly, that is not taken root because the ANC does not have the courage to implement the policies that need to be implemented. The other issue I want to touch on is the public transport IRPTN. And I speak as a member of the Finance Committee. We are concerned about the impact that the complete system would have on the rate space. And fortunately, some in the municipality do recognize it, because in the budget document, it talks about the impact of the system on the budget. And I'll read two sentences. It says, as per the draft financial model, based on an operational service plan to respond to passenger demand, additional rates contributions in the region of 3% to 4% are required to fund shortfalls for phase 1 only. That's one route out of 9. The rollout of all 9 corridors could result in public transport consuming approximately 25% to 30% of the rate space. Mr. Mayor, fellow councillors, that is unsustainable, and the city needs to rethink this whole process and how much we're spending on the capital cost of this system, which the city frankly needs, but we can't proceed with it until it can substantially pay its way and rely on less subsidies. As an example of how badly the governing party runs the budget, let me use an example that we all know how badly the city is, or how bad the city is looking, with overgrown verges, overgrown trees, grass not cut, and so on. And there's a veritable riot in certainly some suburbs in this municipality. Not a veritable, let's just call it. The solution is to create a new entity, a rapid response task team, not ever discussed at any committee level, no indication of who is going to be in this team, how they're going to operate, what equipment they're going to use, where the costs are going to come from. But the head of the department just announces in a press release that he's going to create this, which created some incitement amongst the communities I live in. But everybody knows it's absolute pie in the sky and a complete pipe dream, because no one's thought how it's going to work in terms of rands and cents. But that is an example of the governance we have in this municipality, which is why this budget is going to be yet another lot of smoke and mirrors, and we'll get all the adjustments, as my colleague has said, in January, when we see the adjustment budget correcting all the errors in this budget. What we need to do is get back to basics and fix the potholes, fix the street lights, and spend the money on things that are really important to the residents. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much. I will now invite Councillor S. Kaunda from the African National Congress.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Municipal Economic Recovery Plan, which was adopted during the lockdown, has been widely acknowledged as being impactful and relevant to the challenges that the business community continue to face, including the formal and informal economy. At today's council meeting, we are going to adopt a relief package to enterprise that were not supported through the National Government Assistance Program. This economic recovery plan will end shortly. I'm happy to announce that during the next budget, this cluster will finalize the phase 2 of the economic recovery plan, which will represent the inclusive growth strategy for the next 5 to overall national economy. Durban has more endorsement, and one of these areas need to be fully explored is the Asian economy. We have noted the plans to increase the port capacity, and we work closely with the Transnet to ensure that these ambitious plans are done in alignment with the municipality plans. The municipality will ensure that the plans and construction programs are in full compliance with the municipality's radical economic transformation framework, and the local business must benefit.
The major project must advance our new skills revolution programs and accelerate the development and empowerment of the new enterprises. The municipality was hailed for its climate action plan. This plan has identified a bold target and requires a major commitment from all stakeholders. The plan is in the basis of developing a green economy. It is planned that during the next year's cycle, the renewable energy policy will be adopted, paving the way for a major renewable energy project. This will also ensure that eThekwini become the energy secured and thus be excluded from the load shedding. eThekwini finds itself in competition with other metros within the country and across the continent. There is a need to stand out amongst the peers. The municipality will continue to improve the time it takes process to develop application plans, including the building plans and other important regulatory processes. The goal is to become the South African most business-friendly city. The municipality, under the leadership of this administration, adopted the highly acclaimed economic development incentive policy. This policy has been reviewed on an basis to respond to the needs of the business community, and the business will be encouraged to take advantage of the policy and pursue construction projects. As we move into the post-COVID environment, we anticipate a renewal interest in eThekwini, and our incentive policy will certainly help business with added motivation to implement their project. We understand that the construction project offers opportunity to our unskilled forces, and we need to ensure that we encourage construction development. This will also help to grow our rate base, as it was mentioned earlier on. So in terms of looking at the rate base, one of the issues that we're also focusing on is the issue of the catalytic project. Moreover, in terms of this catalytic project, it will provide the much needed jobs. As we have earlier alluded by one of the colleagues, says the rate of unemployment is high, about 26%, and we believe this catalytic project will also add in terms of that. As per the mayor's speech, there are economic times showing outstanding this. We have made an excellent progress in terms of the recovery of the economy through the economic recovery plan and catalytic project. We are committed to grow the economy and creating more jobs and supporting existing business. As regarding the finance city, we have made a remarkable recovery regarding our cash collection rates and sustaining our operations. It was predicted that it will take us about 3 years to recover from the impact of COVID. However, due to the prudent financial management of the city, benchmark of 30 to 90 days, the city has done incredibly well to improve the collection rates and maintain such cash reserves, especially as we did not borrow in the 2019-20 financial year due to the unforeseen capital markets. We have clearly seen during the COVID, the municipalities with a healthy cash reserves were able to survive. We are committed to grow our cash reserves to ensure we sustain of our operations. A number of businesses and informal traders have been closed down during the COVID pandemic. Hawkers and tourism and hospitality sectors have been hardest hit. We continue to drive our collection rates and help our business. We fully appreciate the concern from the business, consumers, and communities, and we are committed to help them. Accordingly, we have made a hard-working development and reviewing and implementing appropriate policies to help them and sustain the operations of the city. Going forward, we're also working through the new district development models that have been structured to develop imminent and the long-term responses to socio-economic impact of COVID, as well as the economic recovery and economic resilience. As it was mentioned by my colleagues, that the unfunded mandate in terms of the museums, as well as the clinic and other unfunded mandate, we believe through this process of DDM, we can able to work together to ensure that we cover the cost in terms of what are we putting as the city, so that other spheres of government also play a part in terms of ensuring that we run this program, because most of these areas that are called unfunded mandate are the things that are needed in our community. So as the city, we cannot fold our arms when people that they need a clinic. We're not going to fold our arms if there are no libraries in the rural areas or in the informal settlement. So therefore, we believe that the TTM will assist in terms of ensuring that we ensure that the funding for these areas, it comes from the relevant department in the province as well as in the national. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Kaunda. I will now invite the Minority Front, 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. A very good afternoon to colleagues. Firstly, the Minority Front would like to thank all stakeholders for their input in compiling this budget. The Minority Front also welcomes the Honorable Mayor's vision for the city and the municipality's achievements historically. However, one must note, Madam Speaker, that these achievements by the municipality are derived from the revenue base of the taxpayers of eThekwini. Madam Speaker, the Minority Front continues to express its concern regarding the financial impact on the citizens of eThekwini. If this budget is passed today, the people of eThekwini would be paying 8.5% more for water and about 15% more on electricity. This coupled with proportionate increases from the sewer and VAT fees. The residents are already faced with so many issues like service delivery issues and water, electricity interruptions on a daily basis, faced with more invoice billing errors.
Councillor, your time is up.
Thank you.
The DLC has 2 minutes. 1 minute is donated by the TA.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the DLC expresses appreciation towards the work of the officials in putting together this mega budget. However, Madam Speaker, at a previous council meeting, the DLC categorically expressed that the ratepayers are cash-strapped. COVID-19 have imposed unprecedented financial and social hardships amongst our citizens. Unemployment, economic hardships, and social inconveniences have become the order of the day. Madam Speaker, the tariff increases proposed in this budget will not be doing our pensioners and the unemployed any favors. People are losing their houses in numbers and are struggling to make ends meet. Every year we are faced with similar challenges without any positive outcomes. Water loss is astronomically high because Metro Water takes the time in repairing burst pipes. More plumbers, Madam Speaker, are required to be accredited so that water leakages are repaired timeously and without major cost to the ratepayers. Madam Speaker, the DLC supports the city's social relief program of action, but do not support the loan borrowing of 1 billion rands that's in this budget. The DLC supports the smart metering of water and electricity that will eventually see an end to estimate charges and incorrect water reading in our utility bills. Madam Speaker, unfunded mandates have always been a contentious matter for many years. The other spheres of government needs to fulfill the financial responsibility and obligation and pay up. The city does not have the financial viability to always bridge finance the province all the time. Madam Speaker, this year is looking very bleak for the citizens of eThekwini and South Africa as a whole. Therefore, it is the responsibility of this council to assist in the turning of the tide of hopelessness for our people. The DLC do not support the tariff increases in this budget. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now invite Mosa, 1 minute. Not in, okay, apologized. APC, 1 minute.
Sibonge Speaker. CAPC siyayamukela ibudget. Kodwa nje okubhlungu ilokho ukuthi siyafisa sengathi kungathi njoba siplane leminyaka ezayo. Bewukuthi iplan isenza abantu bakwazi ukuhlomula empilweni zabo bangahleze nje beyizincibe engazi ukuthi abantu abacelayo ezweni labo. Futhi nenhlangano ebusayo ngiyafisa ukuthi sengathi kule nyanga yama-Afrika bengabe icabange kahle ukuthi abantu base South Africa kumele batrithwe kanjani. Nayo icabange njengama-Afrika. yenze njengama-Afrika. Abantu bangenzi nje ngazi ukuthi ba amamelika kwabona ngendlela abakhuluma ngayo baba amamelika kwabona. Asicabangeni njengama-Afrika, sisiza ama-Afrika sazi isakhizwe lethu. UTambo wengasho ukuthi uma masihlangana sonke siyokwenza njengabo.
Your time is up, Siyabonga. Al-Jama, 1 minute. Khona Al-Jama. Okay. Can I now invite Councillor Sabelo from the African National Congress?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings, Honorable Mayor, members of the executive, councillors, guests who are present here today. The African National Congress welcomes the People's Budget, which is indeed a pro-poor budget, Comrade Mayor. The work that you have put together with the team of officials in putting together this big budget is appreciated by the people of eThekwini. The public consultations that you underwent is indeed testimony that you are from the school of thought of the African National Congress, which teaches us that it is the people that must determine where we go. We thank you very much, Honorable Mayor, for that. Honorable Mayor, I'm surprised that Ubaba Mthethwa lapha across still seated at those benches. Given the exodus of the removal of African people in the DA, Honorable Van Dam has just left. We await probably next month your resignation as well, as the rightful owners claim the DA back. Baba Mayor, it bears testimony that indeed this budget is a pro-poor budget. The free basic services that during your inauguration as a mayor of this municipality that you've spoken about is now actually kicking into place. You spoke about an indigent policy, and that indigent policy is in place now, and our people are indeed benefiting from it. We're speaking about free basic electricity, free basic water, free sanitation for the poor residents of eThekwini municipality. We want to thank you, Babu Mayor, and the entire municipality for the block sums, or the CIPs, if we can call it. It's indeed true that it has been a difficult process in ensuring that they begin to work, but today we can say that they have started and they are working. Each and every ward will be able to benefit through this program. We are happy that the planned budget is going to ensure that we see gravel roads being upgraded to blacktop roads. Only the African National Congress can do such and ensure services for the people in rural areas. We are forging ahead with ensuring that this city becomes a smart city. With the challenges that we are seeing, the rollout of the broadband, but indeed, after they are sorted, this city will be able to be a smart city which can compete with other cities in the world. The smart meter program that you speak of, Bab Mayor, is also another testimony that we want to ensure that this city is a smart city. It's going to be history in the making, where each and every resident can be able to operate with their cell phones, their electricity at home. We thank you for that. The prioritization of cooperatives in your budget proves as well that the people of eThekwini have the correct leadership under the African National Congress. They also in turn acknowledge that the African National Congress is the only hope for the people of eThekwini. If you don't believe me, Honorable Mthethwa, look at the recent by-election results. You continue to restore the dignity of our people, which was dispossessed by centuries of apartheid and colonialism in this country, where our people were stripped of their land. But this city administration continues to restore the dignity of our people by giving them back their land through the title deeds program. This is a program well appreciated by our people and loved by the majority people of this municipality, because it restores their dignity and it makes sure that they own a piece of land in this country. We also wish to just give free information to this council that in no time now, the National Assembly will pass the bill for land expropriation without compensation, because the African National Congress is serious about restoring the dignity of the people. It cannot go without saying that it's only the ANC that builds houses for people for free. It's only the African National Congress. Through the BNG program, it's only the ANC in the entire world. We're not speaking only South Africa. Many people will call it RDP houses. It's only the ANC that continues to give poor people houses for free. That cannot be shot down by any ways. It is indeed a very, very pro-poor stance by the People's Movement. The People's Movement continues to show that it cares. The People's Movement understands that it is unable to build houses all at once for everyone. It also understands that there are some people who live in informal settlements. Therefore, the People's Movement have introduced a program called the UISP. If I can also explain what is the UISP, it is the Upgrade of Informal Settlements program, where we are going into informal settlements, we are giving the people electricity, water, we are building passages, we are putting retaining walls where there's a need for retaining walls, we are building roads if there is a need for us to build a road in that community to ensure that even though our people are living in informal settlements, but it is still livable in those informal settlements. With those few words, Honorable Speaker, I would like to welcome, and the African National Congress supports this budget by the Honorable Mayor. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Sabelo. Now I'll give to the independents. They have 2 minutes. I don't know who is representing them.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Mabanga.
Greetings to every stakeholder. I know we've got little time. On behalf of our communities and these 4 councillors who are not depending on common sense, but rather some form of ideology, I've looked at a lot in this budget, considering the 27 million skills development budget, 30,000 Rand business relief fund, the prioritization of empowerment of our cooperatives in things such as pothole fixing, the 100% rate exemption, the total debt write-off, free 6 kiloliter of water, and many more. The list is endless. Looking at just a few things, this convinced me that this is a budget policy for the service delivery, which is definitely pro-poor. And we fully support this. But before I can get to that point, I'm looking at the quote by Charlotte Matlego, which really finds expression in this administration. This work is not only for yourselves. Kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people, but rather live with them. And if you can, rise, bring someone with you. That is exactly what is attributed to this administration. We are very excited, and certainly the people of eThekwini, not only us, do welcome this budget. And then you guys deserve a biggest round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mabanga. I will now invite His Worship the Mayor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I won't spend my time in dealing with the howlers because if you don't have anything to do, you'll always oppose everything. Since we've been in this council, the DA is opposing the budget, but it claims to represent the interest of people. How do you represent those interests if you do not approve budget, which will then make a change in the people's lives? So I think you should redefine your role. But by being the opposition, it doesn't mean that oppose everything. I will tell you today that look at the CPD, we are working, we are upgrading our infrastructure, the bulk water pipes and sewerage, but you will come here today and say that is not happening. Opposition parties should come with alternatives. You can't sit here and say we don't approve budget because we believe it's not going to do this and that, but you bring alternatives, but you support the budget because the budget is the vehicle to change and respond to the aspirations of people of eThekwini. How do you change the people's lives without approving budget? So you come here, you claim that you represent people, but you are actually doing a disservice for the very same people. I wonder those who are voting for DA, what are they voting for? When people come here and oppose that you must go and install water to informal settlement,
Order,
people
Speaker.
come here and say we must oppose
Speaker, order.
building of roads.
110 is an answer.
Councillor Mhlongo,
I'm so
Obamba
surprised.
Mayor.
I'm so surprised what is the mayor talking about because we've been voted. Have you voted?
What's your point, Uthini Baba?
So I'm surprised that the mayor is talking about.
No,
that
that's not a point of order.
So we haven't taken
Thank
any
you.
votes.
Continue, Baba Mayor.
Yeah, history has got no blank pages. You've been opposing budgets all these years. So history has got no blank pages, sir. So look at your history. Maybe you are new in the DA, you don't know that. They will teach you. That is their operation style, that they must oppose all budgets. So I'm not expecting the DA to support this budget, but if they support it, it will be a bonus. So, Honorable Speaker, part of what we have presented here today is how we intend to build a revenue generation base that is sustainable. Because for us to spend more money in the infrastructure, ascertaining that those roads that we are building, they'll be attracting necessary investment in the city. So it's actually a response to the question that colleagues are raising. How do we intend to build a solid revenue base? That's how you build it. Councillor Kaunda have said it here. Catalytic projects is part of those interventions. But what we can't do is to say to poor people they must continue and pay where people can't afford. That is why through the indigent policy we are intervening to those who can't afford. When we increase tariffs, those tariffs are increased, but those people who can't afford, they are also being assisted so that they can be able to write off their debts. This council has done that and will continue to do it. Because those people, it's not of their own making that they are poor. It's the system which was imposed by the forefathers of some of you who are seated over there through apartheid. So therefore those people can't afford, those people, there were job reservations. People were unemployed for such a long time. It's not a new thing. So we are saying that with these interventions.
Mayor Bambe, there's a point of
Angisho
order.
wakho Mthetho.
I'm just requesting that you protect your councillors as the chairperson of this session. You can't have the mayor raising these
Amanga indawo
these
washo.
serious allegations against councillors.
Akona
Because I
amanga.
don't think the mayor, I don't think the mayor
Akona
can
amanga.
point one councillor and say your forefather did this.
Phela wakho akekho
So
lapho
this
ngoba
is a very dangerous, this is a very dangerous
Asiphazamiswa nabo
so
sobenyoka.
the mayor must withdraw that. Please.
I can't.
Order, I can't hear
He didn't
him.
want to.
Order, colleagues, order.
Withdraw iqiniso. Kahleni bo.
Mkhetho, who do I protect? The DA?
The councillors.
The councillors, okay.
Unless the mayor can say,
Okay,
so and so's forefather, not this generalization.
Yewona mathomlungu.
okay, thank you. Continue, but Mayor, I'm protecting
And
you.
protect me against
Order,
such things.
order.
Yeah, if you do not know the history of South Africa, the problem started in 1652. So now those that have got, I don't have a forefather who arrived here in 1652. So I think that is clear. It's the history of this country which we must unite so that we put things aside. But we can't forget. We can forgive.
Well,
That's
some
what we are
people-
doing.
Some people have got a lot to say about
We can't
you.
forget. We can
About
forgive.
about
We
you
can
as well.
forgive. Now, I don't know, Speaker, whether Councillor Mtetwa is also on the podium to speak. Because
Councillor
insuku
Mtetwa.
zakhe ziyabalwa kwi-DA uyahamba lo mnumzana.
Of order. Councillor Mtetwa,
Yes, Speaker.
I always respect you because you
know.
respect me. Please switch off your microphone and let's allow the mayor to continue.
Yes, so all the programs that you have put in place, Honorable Speaker, are intended to build this solid revenue base. And I don't know the councillor who spoke about we are only having 1 month days, cash, cash on hands. I don't understand where does he live, because we deliver reports in this council. In all our
Point of
reports,
order, Madam
in
Speaker.
all those reports, we haven't had that situation.
Councillor, but Mayor, as a point of order, Councillor Beatrice?
Far be it from me to help the mayor right. Maybe he must just read his section 71 report. You'll find it right there. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
No, I'm the mayor in this municipality. We've been
Uthini
producing
umlungu
about
manje?
59 days cash on hand, 74 days cash on hands, because we are improving. Yes, during the COVID-19, we had experienced that. But now we are gradually improving from that situation. And I don't think that there's a municipality which did not suffer from that. So I think the governance of this municipality, there is good governance, things are solid, and we are not in the ICU. So, but if in your dream you think that the ANC-led municipality is in the ICU, we are not even in a ward. We are working, and there is progress that we are achieving.
Delusional.
Honorable Speaker, the other aspect that we want to respond to, we will be engaging with Ngonyama Trust. There are many interventions we are doing, and we've spoken to Amakosi that we are investing infrastructure in the areas, in deep rural areas, and that infrastructure needs to be maintained. So on how that will be done, then those engagements will then yield some result in terms of what kind of surcharges or whatever or tariff that will then be imposed, so that those communities there, they also spend money in maintaining those services. So there will be no way where the municipality will just say, you go and build good mansions there, then there's nothing that you're gonna pay. So we are going to engage them in that respect. But this municipality, part of what we will also be doing, when we say we'll create an infrastructure development fund, there are things that government alone can't do, but it requires collaboration with the private sector to come and work with us as a city. Because in that fund, it will be also sourced from the private sector, so that we start injecting necessary investments in our infrastructure so that we can sustain the economy of the city. But industrialization is the key area which we are going to put in more concerted efforts on it, so that we start changing the face of our rural areas, the face of our townships, where bigger companies and manufacturing companies will be working with us as a municipality to industrialize those communities for whatever product and the inputs that they need to produce in their companies. What I'm talking about, Honorable Speaker, is not something which is part of the dream like the DA. We have engaged businesses. They have a buy-in in what we are saying. Today we're signing a social compact, and I know you are not going to be happy with that. Business is coming on board to say, here we are, municipality will be working with you to change the lives of our people. And we appreciate that response. It's a positive response because they acknowledge the work we are doing as a municipality to change the lives of the people and also to become an investment attraction and destination. So we will be investing a lot of work in that regard. But lastly, Honorable Speaker, we have explained here the challenges of what? We do not think that we want to listen from the DA what are the challenges of what. On daily basis, we are dealing with these challenges. On daily basis, we are providing solutions to some of these challenges. Yes, problems are still there, but we'll be resolving those problems because through the interventions. When you talk about the upgrade, as we speak, in Adams, there's upgrade of those pipes there. If you talk about Ngonyameni, they are upgrades as we speak. If you talk about Mzinyat, they are upgrades even of our schemes, so that we'll be able to supply adequate water. We are investing money in it. We are not just talking about it, complaining. We are not the crybabies like the DA, which comes here and cry, after that there's nothing that it's going to do. But this government, led by African National Congress, is more than ready to change the lives of our people, especially the poor, those who have been left out of the mainstream economy. They will start benefiting through the package that we have presented today. We wish you, DA, to really revisit your role. I think for now you are doing a disservice to your voters, and your voters are not going to be voting for you. Thank you.
May I check why are the people marching against the municipality? if it
That's
is
not a
going
point
well?
of order.
If I still have time, I can respond.
That's not a point of order. Thank you, Bab Mayor.
Ward 110 is gone.
We've come to the end. Let us now. No, we finish up and then we go to have lunch. Let us check our budget. It's in page 28 to page 45, item 6, 6.1 to 6.34. Are the recommendations agreed?
No.
No.
Great.
Those who are for the recommendation, please raise your hands. Please assist us in the other room, hall back. Hall 4AB.
Wetango.
Is there somebody who's assisting us with the numbers in the other room? Or should I ask them? No, I answer. WhatsApp. Okay, all right. Those who are against? Those who are against the budget, please raise your hand.
Yabona-ke mthetho.
Hey, buye ngaboni kwami na.
Eqinisele manje.
Bakhuluma ngani bayashoda. Umthetho wazabe NFB. Umthetho wazabe NFB.
Okay, those who are abstaining?
A point of order, Madam Speaker.
Raise your hand, who's that?
Yes, I vote Sindo Strength.
Point of order, yani kuvote.
Madam Speaker, the ACDP voted against, and
Who's voting against?
the ACDP voted against, and
Against?
Information there.
Okay.
Madam Speaker,
The DLC voted against.
The DLC is voting against.
Qala ngisho ukuzwa ngayo.
Ngavuka uJust Punch wena ngakukinya kubulala.
Okay, are we done?
And abasho labo against akunamehluko lapho.
Those who are abstaining. All right, those who are abstaining, please,
Madam Speaker,
say what your preference is.
Madam Speaker, the IFP.
Where's the IFP?
Is 4.
The IFP is 4.
Siyabonga mntwana.
Rajpanz is not happy about this.
Where's the MF?
May his soul rest in
We're
peace,
done
the
now.
tiger.
We're done. We're done.
The Bengal Tiger.
Thank you very much. The 2021-2022 people's budget has been approved. Thank you very much.
ANC.
Half past. We have 2:30. Quarter past.
Wathina umthetho.
2:30.
I-ANC yana engenanobhalo.
Thank you, colleagues.
Speaker.
Uthanda indaba
Who's that?
Ukhansela ukhuzwayo ngapha ekwelinye ihholo.
Councillor Kuzwayo.
Besicela ukuthi mase kuyodliwa i-DA ingayi ngoba inqabile ukuvotela i-budget.
Order.
Bakakubulala ngokudla.
Colleagues,
Speaker.
we had planned that. Councillor Mthetho.
No, I just want to check for a clarity because we're setting a precedent. Is the chanting of podcast slogans allowed in a council meeting?
Uqhamuka wena.
Umthetho.
Ninawo nama-slogan ku-DA.
So that we refer to that in future, is it allowed,
Anina-slogan,
Madam Speaker, to
kuyafana,
chant
anina
podcast
future.
slogans?
Unaso yini slogan wena?
Ungasukuma na uthi DA. Sukuma.
No, colleagues.
Wena
colleagues.
mathomlungu yahlupha.
Colleagues, order. We have planned that we go for lunch at 2. Angikuphenduli because ayikho lento oyishoyo.
Uyahlupha lo mathomlungu.
Umthetho uyabhoreka.
Colleagues, we had planned that we go for lunch at 2. The time is 1:30 now. Let us break for lunch and come back at 2:15. The halls, we are going to this hall on the right, 2AB. Those that are in hall 4AB must go to hall 5A, that other side. We're coming back at 2:15. Please come back
Nayo-ke
at
into yazo
2:15.
ANC uyabona mase kuyodliwa.
Yahamba i-DA siyodla.
Cha, i-DA ayikho.